have good news to bring,
and that is why I sing.
My earliest recollections of that probably had to do with a request from Sonia that I make her matching wedding rings from a design she specified. I may have shown it to her, or she may have come across it on her own. In any event, it consisted of a number of nude bodies entwined around the finger, end to end. I was working in the jewelry trade at the time, so it was quite easy to make these for my sister and her husband.
About the first couple of times I heard about Jack, but not the first couple of times I met Jack. This was before I met him. It's the mid-1990s, and I was an assistant manager at the Doubleday Bookshop on Fifth Avenue, where there was also working a young sales clerk named Christy Robbins. One day I was talking to my friend Newman, who is a copy editor at Business Week. She mentioned one of her co-workers named Jack Robbins had been talking about his daughter. And it seems she had a job in a bookstore, my bookstore. And she also mentioned that he seemed to be quite proud of his daughter and thought she was the most wonderful being alive. And, well, a couple of years later, Christy left the bookstore, went to go to library school. Sometime after that, well, we became a couple. At this point, I still had not met her parents. And one day I was talking to Anne again, and she told me another story about Jack Robbins. Mentioned that he was kind of concerned about his daughter. I'm talking to her, and she'd taken up with an older man. He was kind of worried that, well, he might have evil intentions, predatory feelings towards his innocent young daughter. After a few more minutes of talking, Anne realized that he was referring to me, which she found quite amusing. And thankfully, she managed to convince Jack that I was essentially harmless.
It took a lot of work.
No, she lied. Yes. So eventually I did finally get to meet Jack and Sonia. Jack became the equivalent of my father-in-law. The good kind of father-in-law, that is, not the kind you see in bad TV shows. We got along well, and I came to enjoy his sly wit, his amusing stories about his youth and about his days as a reporter and copy editor, none of which I should repeat here because some of the people involved might be here. And we chatted about books and popular music, and especially lots of movies. I came to rely on him for reviews for every movie that came out, practically. And he didn't seem to care that I was a humble bookseller rather than a doctor or a lawyer or a Wall Street tycoon. Come to think of it, I think if I'd been a Wall Street tycoon, I probably would have thought less of me. It seemed like I made his daughter happy, so Jack was happy. And the man who's happily married for 51 years never seemed to care that, well, Christy and I never got around to making it legal. Only comment he ever made regarding marriage was, I think about 10 years after Christy and I had been together, he commented, well, no one can ever accuse you of rushing into things. I guess he was of the opinion that love and commitment matter, not marriage licenses. And so I owe a lot of thanks to Jack and to Sonia for doing such a great job raising Christy. And I have to thank Jack for giving Christy his sense of humor. Because I know that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with her.
It's
about Jack as a father, and it's a little bit about the man that he let stay in Christy's life, which was remarkable. As a part-timer who parachuted into Business Week from New Jersey, I didn't have a chance to get to know Jack the way that many of my colleagues here did. But two memories stand out. The first was the bus ride we shared to a storied conference retreat in Pennsylvania called Eagle Lodge. We hadn't left Manhattan before Jack started telling me about his daughter and his only child, Christy. I had no clue where we were going, but what I thought would be an endless trip to somewhere out there in Pennsylvania turned out to be surprisingly quick, as he told me the story of how, as a child, right, Christy was hit by a car on the Upper West Side and suffered horrific injuries and had an endless recovery. As the mother of a young child at the time, I was struck by the fierceness of his devotion and his loyalty to Christy. And the fierceness of that devotion stays with me still, even though my kids are 22 and 18 now. So it came as no surprise when a few years later, Jack was spitting mad when he heard Christy was going out with a much older man. And honestly, I think at the desk there, I literally saw a spit flying from his mouth. And you could tell he would never let the guy in Christy's life if he had any say about it. So when I asked for more details, I found out how sleazy the guy was. He worked at a bookstore, God forbid, and had gone to, of all places, Oberlin College. So it was all I could do when I heard the name Richard Haas, not to laugh hilariously.
I can scarcely wait